Hey everyone, and welcome to Carrie's Garage. And on this episode, we're going to get some more work done to the Rambler. So one of the problems I've had with the Rambler since I got it running is the water pump just pisses like the Exxon Valdez. It just pours water out. So I finally got a hold of one of the local suppliers here in America. I think they're out of Ohio or, Ohio. And they did have a Reman water pump. So I went ahead and got that and a new gasket. So we're going to go ahead and pull the water pump out. I already have it somewhat prepped. I took the fan blades off, so there's only 2 bolts holding it in. So for the ease of being able to adjust the generator, because it's not too bad, we're going to take the battery tray out. It's got 2 bolts up front and 1 in the back. Pop that out, give some more accessibility. Then we'll be able to get the water pump out and take a look. One thing I'm a little worried about is this heater pipe right there. I don't know if that's threaded in or if it's a pressed fit, because this one has a threaded fitting on it. So if that one's pressed in, I'm probably going to need to go to the auto parts store and see if I can get some sort of a threaded fitting and some longer heater hose and make that work. But for now, let's go ahead and get it all taken apart and take a look, and hopefully this one works. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the battery tray out. See, overall that was pretty easy. Now let's go ahead and loosen up the generator to be able to pivot it off and get the belt off. Alright, let me go ahead and move you guys, see if we can get a little bit better view. Surprisingly, it's fairly tight in here, so let's go ahead and get the pulley off. Now surprisingly, the shaft on the water pump, the bearings feel great, but just the seal from this thing sitting for so long, and who knows if the water pump has ever been replaced. For all I know, this could very well be the original water pump on the car. It only has 57,000 miles on it. It has been sitting for a very long time, but thankfully I was able to get a Reman. It was a little pricey, but I mean, unfortunately with this car, parts availability is fairly minimal. There's our pulley. Go ahead and get this upper radiator hose loose. Just has water in it right now. And when I get it back together, I'll just fill it up with water, make sure there's no leaks, and let it get warmed up. Cool. Now all of the bolts are accessible, so let's go ahead and get the water pump off and take a look. All right, we have all of the fasteners for the water pump loose, so let's see if we can get it broken loose. Oh, that was easy. It's all draining into the pan. Like I said, it's just water in there right now. When it was leaking pretty bad, I didn't want to waste coolant. So I'm gonna get some of the washers off. Don't want to drop those. one. Alright, that one's not come off. Alright, and here's our water pump. See if we can get it out. Alright, cool. There we go. So we'll go ahead and take a look and see if this guy is threaded or if it's pressed in. And the biggest thing I want to do real quick before we go any further is gotta measure the shaft length, because there's actually two different water pumps for these old Ramblers. You can get one with a 40 amp generator, which actually had a different length shaft on it. So we'll just measure to make sure they're the same, which I think they are, because the one with the 40 amp is actually not so common, I understand. So let me go ahead and grab a tape measure. We'll measure it just to be sure. Take a look at that pipe, and then kind of figure out our plan of attack. Then we need to clean the block and get that old gasket off. Alright, so we got the tape measure out. There's the old water pump. And looks like about 5.5. And looks about the same on that one. So I think we are golden on the shaft flank. Now let's take a look at that pipe real quick. Clean it up a bit, and there are threads in this pipe. So put a little bit of penetrating oil in there, and let's see if we can get this thing off and installed on the new pump. Sorry, it was a little difficult to film trying to get this out, but I had to heat it up a couple of times, and it's definitely in there, but I was able to get it loose. Trying to, you know, not definitely trying to not collapse it, because that would be a bit annoying. So there we go. We're able to get it out. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a bit, run a cleaner through it because it does have some junk in it, and then we'll get some sealing compound on it and get it in the new water pump. And just like that, cleaned it up, put a little bit of sealing tape on it, and got it in the water pump. I got to go ahead and clean up the block, get the old gasket off, then we'll get this guy mounted in, and I will definitely need to tighten this up a little bit and adjust it, but it's all together. It's pretty nice. So thankfully the surface of the block actually isn't too bad, so go ahead and get it scraped off, get the old gasket off, and then we'll get the new pump installed. And of course I say it won't be too hard, but accessibility in here is very limited. Alright, got the new gasket in, got the surface all cleaned up, got some schmutz on it, so we'll go ahead and get the new water pump in, tighten down, and get the hoses on. And I will be replacing all the hoses, I just need to get a set, haven't gotten around to it yet, but once it's all together, we'll just fill it up with water, let it run, let it warm up, make sure that it pressurizes and doesn't have any other leaks. Just like that, new water pump is in, hoses are on. I don't have the pulley attached yet because you have to do the fan blades, which are in 2 pieces with the pulleys. So before I really put anything else back together, I'm going to fill it up with some water, make sure there's no obvious leaks right away, and then we'll go ahead and get that pulley and fan tightened down, put the belt on for the generator, and we'll go ahead and start it up and let it run. Mostly I'm putting water in it because if there is a leak, I don't want to waste coolant, and I'm going to end up flushing this block and cooling system several times since it sat for such a long time, and I'm probably going to have to get the radiator re-cored at some point. I just know I'm going to have to, but for now, let's just see if we can make it cool and hold water at least. Doing stuff one-handed while filming with my phone has definitely been a very interesting learning experience. Trying to show everyone what's going on, but also sometimes I absolutely need 2 hands. And I wish I could have shown the installation of the water pump a little bit better, but like I said, that space is oddly tight and it's very difficult to even get hands in there, let alone, have a view of a camera. So we'll go ahead and fill it up with water and take a quick look. I don't have a coolant system pressure tester. I think it got lost years ago in a move, so I definitely do need to buy a new one here soon. We have water in it, and it does seem to be holding. I don't see any obvious drips. So now let's go ahead and put the pulley on, the fan. As you can see, the fan is actually in 2 pieces. So lining up the bolt hole with the pulley and the 2 pieces of the fan is definitely going to be an interesting chore, but it's definitely give it a try. Put the belt on, put the battery tray in, and then we'll start it up, let it run. Got my stay in park safety device. Since this thing likes to pop out of park, the little catch on the mechanism is worn out, so I need to figure out what to do about that, but we're making some progress. Battery tray is back in, battery hooked up, the fan blades, everything's all connected. That was a total pain. So let's go ahead and start it up and let's let it warm up and see if it behaves. Who knows if the thermostat's good? I'm probably going to end up replacing that anyways out of precautionary things. So, it's running. I haven't really been able to warm it up since I've had the car since the water pump leaked so bad. So one of the biggest problems still that I need to figure out is what to do about the filler neck. the molded filler neck that I thought I was able to get that they reproduced was actually for the next body style, and it just won't fit. So I'm gonna have to get a little creative and figure out what to do about that. And then a couple of the tires are losing air, and I gotta get the parking brakes working. But other than that, she's just about ready to actually be driven on the road. Well, here's a bit of a progress report. It's been sitting here idling for a bit, and the upper and lower radiator hoses are nice and warm. No leaks that I can tell. I definitely need to tune it some more. It has a little bit of a stumble at idle, and no idea how accurate it is. But the temperature gauge has definitely been moving a bit, but I think it should be higher. So who knows if the temperature sender is actually working correctly. It's hard to say. Well, that'll wrap it up for this video on the Rambler. Got the water pump replaced, seems to be holding just fine. Temperature gauge doesn't seem to be moving as much as I'd like, so I got to check the gauge of the sending unit and take a look. But finally be able to drive it around and fix some other stuff that comes up, because I know it will. You know, cars that sit for a long time, they definitely do that. But thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and see you guys next time.